fully recording. Awesome. So, good morning, everybody. Man, quite an adventure for me, at least yesterday. My power went out, so that was interesting. Um, yeah, power went out here in Vegas. Not the whole city, of course, just a little section of it. My whole complex and 2,000 other residents. So that was interesting. That was pretty fun. Um, it was cool because you don't know like when you don't have the trust of the city and all that what's going on with everything going on, you don't have the trust with them to say, yeah, I'll be back on, let's just don't worry about it. But with with everything happening now, things like that occur, like a normal thing where it's like a normal hiccup on a regular basis. If it was last year, if it was last year this time, you kind of be like, oh, whatever, it's not a big deal. We'll surpass it. But because with everything happening now, it's a look at that. That's what I noticed. My topic thing. Can't have that. What the hell's going on, man? Oh, wow. Do. So that should just go like that. Sorry about that. My topic on my stream changes. I'm kind of anal that way a little bit, at least. It's gonna bug me the whole time. All right, there we go. And now there's no trust or anything happening, so it's kind of hard to be like, oh yeah, it'll come back up. It's like, immediately I thought, it's all gonna start. The end of the world. It's done. It starts here, where I live at, and then it'll go on to another city and another city, and all of a sudden, got the Coast Guard or whatever showing up, giving us relief. So we're up in a couple hours. Got some wings. We got a wing night out of it, right? We're gonna go to the store, but couldn't just because we didn't know how long the outage was gonna be. Obviously, we knew it was gonna come back up, but we just didn't know how long. So there's that. And yeah, yesterday I was feeling kind of like I've been feeling like this for a while, the last few days. I'm just like tired or like unmotivated, and I honestly think I'm being burnt out. So I've been through this a few times before, and I'm becoming very self-aware of how I feel physically and mentally in the last couple of years. And whenever I feel that, I'm like, all right, it's weird. Why do I feel that way? I feel super motivated one day, and the next day I'm just like not. I'm openly disgusting like that. Like, oh, I'm feeling a little depressed right now. Yeah, that's what that is. Or like, oh well, I'm bored. So, it's kind of things like that. Just like verbally say it out loud. And I've noticed when I have a pattern that's very easy for me in my life, it's like things like wake up every day, get into my car, wake up every day, eat the same thing every day, get up every day at the same time, eat at the same time, eat the same thing, take my dogs, do the whole routine, go to the car, drive to where I work, or drive to wherever. Yeah, we'll drive to work, do the bare minimum there, spend the same time there, do the same things there, then get in my car, come home, do the same thing again, go to sleep, and wake up the next day. I hate that shit. I like changing things up. I like Yeah, I don't really. I like pattern. I like routine, but I don't like patterns. If that makes sense. I like having a routine every day where it may not be the same thing. The way I kind of do that is, for my studies are concerned. Before I did this, I started this when I'm working out. I'm kind of doing, and I'm training myself how to study how I worked out, because working out it's a little bit easy for me to, um, I guess, I don't know. I don't think I'm insecure about it. I think me studying, I always have this like grudge that since I sucked so bad in high school, I feel like I have to make up for it, like deep down, I think. So I am always constantly trying to overthink my studying. But when I work out, it's very like think outside the box, do whatever works for me. I don't care. I don't care if it goes away from what you do, because when I do it makes sense for me and it works for me and I get results out of it. So I'm just do it my way. And I pick a bunch of videos and I'm like, yeah, that's done, I'm not doing that. Okay, got it. Boom. Build my own schedule. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't feel right. Let me do it. Let me change it up. Do this, and that. So very fluid workouts, and things of that nature. When I was like prepping for fights and just all that, like I did my own type of style and workout routines. I was always in shape. I was always, I started with running every day, hurt myself. So I started running every 3 days out of the week. And I built a like long run, short run mentality where I ran 3 miles and then long run was 5 miles. And then I did 2 short runs and 1 long run. And then I lifted twice a week. And then I trained, I fought 5 days a week, or 6 days a week. So I had like this like routine to rest certain parts of my body, and certain days I took it easy. Other days I put more kind of like a hit thing, but just not in the same workout. It's more of a hit for the week, high intensity and low intensity throughout the week. So it's just kind of like that. I developed that, right, and that's through trial and error and feeling my body and how it works. So it comes by, it's natural for me to do that working out. So, but studying is a different whole other realm. I look at other people and how they study, and I just started doing this recently, where I used to look how other people study, but now I'm just doing my own thing. Like I'm just like, no, I'll do what works for me, because when I passed my CCNA, when I was studying for it, the problem wasn't for me understanding the concepts. The problem was um, approaching it mentally. That was the problem I always had with the CCNA. I put it up here. I think I discussed it before, but I put it up here. In reality, it wasn't super up there where I thought that once I get it, it was it. Like my work, my like career will be set, And that's what and I remember discussing this with my father when I first started going to college. I remember standing in the living room talking about, man, once I get this degree, like that'll be it. I'll be so happy if I could just get this degree. And my dad was like, no, like once you get that, you're gonna think of the next thing. And I'm like, no, like, but once I get this though, like that'll be amazing that I have my own degree. And he was right. As soon as I knocked that associate's degree, I was like, all right, what's next? All right, bachelor's degree. Okay, great. Knock that out. And then once I got CCNA, when I was thinking the CCNA, I'm like, oh, once I get this, I mean, that's associate level certificate. But I thought it was like cream of the crop and and I got it. Well, okay, now what? What's next? Right. So that mental block was like, I can never be there. I can never get there. So because of that, when I first started studying it, I was like, I'm studying every day. And then I realized, and then I tried to do it quickly, because every time I decided, okay, I'm gonna start studying now. I'm gonna give myself like a certain amount of time frame, right? 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever the case may be. Sometimes I pressed myself to do 3 months, and I was a fucking mistake. I used to read the notes that I took on the way to studying somewhere. So I would read them on the way to work, on the way to a restaurant, because I took me an hour and a half to get home. So from 5 o'clock, sometimes 6, depending on what time I got out. Let's just say if it's average day, I get out at 5, so I want to get home to about 7 o'clock, like out the door or clock out, wrap everything up, kind of do a whole nine. So it's like that's 15 minutes and 15 minutes for me to get out the car and just do all this stuff, right? Just like everything. People use bathroom and all that. So it's like from 5 to an hour and a half, probably driving, and then got there like at 7, and I'll hit Denny's, and then Denny's I'll study for 3 hours. Went home, got home at like 11 o'clock, 1:30, and then I had like dogs and stuff like that. So like do the whole night, help my mom do all that, and then Roberta, she was like helping me at the time, and then like went to bed, do the same thing all over again, and it was just like a whole. And then I wasn't working out physically, like I wasn't taking care of my body, right? Because I was super stressed because of like I was taking my college degree, and at the same time I had a very challenging job. So I try to force a 3-month timeline because everyone's saying you only need 3 months. So I felt that, okay, well, if everyone else takes them in 3 months, that means for me to be at that caliber, I need to take it in 3 months. That's what I imagined in my head. So therefore, the challenge stopped becoming me passing the test. It was more, let me take it in 3 months so I can challenge the people who also passed it in 3 months. It's like, it's so stupid. Like saying it out loud now, it's pretty dumb. But for me at the time, I was like, that's where I wanted to be at. And honestly, right now, thinking back, it's probably a setup for failure for me. Like I was afraid to pass the test because now at that level, once you get to CCNA, people expect you to be at a certain level. And I felt that I could have felt, and I feel like now that that's what I was feeling back then, is that if I pass this test and then now I'm at that level, people are going to expect me at a certain level. And what if I can't do it? Now what? Am I a fraud? Right? So that's kind of the mentality I was at the same time, comparing myself to others and thinking that if somebody else says that. That's why I hate when people say these certificates are easy. Like I will never say that A+ is easy, Nut Plus is easy, Cloud Plus is easy, or any advanced certificate is easy, AWS is easy. Like it's not easy. None of these things are easy. I remember discussing a very smart a friend of mine from high school, and I remember she was like super smart. She was always like in the advanced courses and all that. Later on in life, we reconnected, and I forgot. I think it was still in California at the time. It was years ago, and she was telling me, "Oh, I'm afraid." I think she was still in college and graduating, and then she's like, "Yeah, I want to be a teacher, but I am afraid I can't take the test." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, everyone's saying it's easy, but what if I fail?" Right? So I was like, "Why would you feel like? Why would you?" Why would you not take it because you're afraid you're going to fail? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you fail, just study again and take it again. And for me, it didn't make any sense because I'm like, in my head, I already had failed a bunch of times. Like, at that time, by the time she talked to me about it, I had failed my CCNA twice already. So, yeah, I already failed it twice, and I had attempted to study for it twice. But both of those two study methods failed for me, and just all that stuff, right? I think I failed A+. So, and I think we discussed previously as to why, right? So, but anyways, so it's like in my head, I was like, so what? Like, but she's like, but everyone says it's easy. So, and what if I fail? That means I'm like, she was alluding to the fact that she was feeling insecure, but the fact that she doesn't pass it, she's done, right? And I was like, who cares? It's only easy it's easy once you study it and do well and then pass it. Like that's the only reason you think it's easy, because you learn something. Like topics that you're studying and doing, you know them. So in your perspective, it's easy, but that's subjective. For me to say something's easy, it's all subjective. For me, the topics to cover, it's very easy for me because either I prepared for this, or B, I prepared for it in a different method, like in a different area of expertise. That means if I maybe for me, math comes easily, where the for the mentality, the way you look at problems and solve issues for math, and you enjoy it, it's easy for you because you enjoy something. So it's easy for you to learn something and comprehend it and spend time and practice. For math, it works out for you. So like individuals who for math, there's a certain formula you follow, but you have to have experience. You have to do math questions all the time, all the time. It's repetition, right? So if you literally do not like doing math, you will never be good at it. But if you like doing math, then you will always be good at it because you're always practicing that method, those formulas and all that stuff. Somebody who takes a test in math would think it's easy, but somebody who doesn't like math but can understand it will not think it's easy because they're like, this is uncomfortable to me, I don't like it. I took it, I ended up passing, but that shit was kind of hard. So you don't understand the difference. So I know people say certain things are easy because then it could potentially hurt somebody else mentally, like their insecurities. And if everyone's seeing, oh, it's easy, it's just like pump up the crowd because you're so intelligent, right? Well, fuck yourself. Like, you're not super intelligent. You didn't come out of birth knowing like everything. Just calm down. So I had told her, it was like, just take it, just study for it, take it. If you fail, who cares? Just take it again. Like, it's not the end of the world if you fail. And in actuality, I enjoy the fact that I fail. Like, if I fail at something, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I have now a story to tell. I have now something to develop. I took something that challenged me. It may not challenge somebody else, but I'm not living in their world. Right? I'm living in my world. Like, my world, this was challenging for me. I'm gonna take it. Who cares? I hate this whole. And I think it's everywhere, right? Just we're mammals, right? I guess the whole like male and female, like who's better than the other. I think it's more the females are the same thing, right? Somebody wants to be more higher than somebody else. Who cares? Like, it's hard to do that. Sometimes I get competitive. I try to steer away from that because I feel if I become competitive, it makes me. I don't like looking back at some of the times I acted very competitive. I didn't like that version of myself. And I also don't like that version of other people. You should look like a douchebag, right? Putting down other people. So for me, I try to just focus on my challenges, on my things, help improve myself. And once you do that, once you turn that switch on, it's like you operate a whole different level, right? It's people are like here on this like negative pool of like self competing individuals who are saying those are and it's not like a bunch of like dark demons and evil people. No, it's like it's people are saying, oh, it's easy. You didn't pass that? What? I can't believe it. Why didn't you pass that? You didn't pass that? Oh my goodness, you didn't know that? It's like, bro, like, no, I didn't know that. Like, I'm learning. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? I hate that mentality. I hate the pool of people. I'm like always shy away from those people. I like being in this side where individuals are challenging each other, encouraging each other. Someone says if it feels like they need to be vulnerable so that way they can have someone help them up a little bit because a lot of people need those support. What if I fail? What if I can't do that? I'm like, so what if I keep pushing it? Keep doing it. You're afraid to do something. Oh, I don't like that. I suck at it. Like, the reason why you suck at it is because you haven't been practicing it, right? Who cares? Like, for me, I love when people tell me I suck at something. It's like, you suck at it. Stop sucking so bad. Like, how? No, like this. I hate when people do like the whole like you suck. All right, how do I improve? Oh, I don't know. Just stop sucking though. Like, don't you have you have no way to tell me that I suck or not because you cannot help me improve. So therefore, you probably suck at your own thing, and just no one's told you about it yet. So, in any case, I was telling her, look, try it, study for it, try it, and see where you're at. You don't want to look back in 20 years and be like, man, if I only just took that test and figured out whether or not I could have passed it, and then I would have had this like doubt gone. but now because whatever, now you can always take it. I mean, you always take it. You can be 50, 60 years old, but you really want to wait till 20, 50, 60, 70 years old to be extremely happy with your life. Like, rather be happy now. Just try everything now. So she's now a teacher. So it's like she took the test, passed it, and then boom, right there, teacher of the family. So she's actually teaching at the school I went to when I was in 11th, 10th, 9th grade, all of that. So that was pretty cool. So she gave a shot and tried and passed it and that goes for anyone out there who's trying to look at these tests and things that are super high, and they feel like they have to either not, they're intimidated entirely, or feel like they have to try super hard. Because the times when my story, when I was doing the whole trying to challenge in 3 months, and I was reading that I did all this extra shit, failed the test, like ridiculously failed this test. I did not do well. And I mean, I scored like, I think it was 6 something. And I ran out of time. And not like I didn't know the materials, it's like I ran out of time. I didn't know it well enough, I guess, fast enough. So it's not like I could tank the test. It's just, I think it was like 20 questions I had to quickly just go do because I didn't have time. So I failed it. And that was unfortunate. I wish I would have studied the way I work out, right? Because that made sense to me. Now, and what do I mean by that? Right? Like, all right, well, you study how you work out. I discussed fluid changes and all that. So when I was last time I got into like real, I guess, athletic shape, and all that, I was fighting, I was training and all this stuff, the way you work out, right, is you work out between an hour to 3 hours a day. Okay. So depending how you want to do it, you cannot work out 3 hours of just like boom, 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 of like 10 sets, 15 reps, 30-second rest time for 3 hours. Cannot do it. You cannot lift weights that much. You cannot run that much. Your body would just be burnt out. Okay. So why would you think that you can study for 3 hours straight without any rest, without anything like that? Why do you think you could just read a book and do that? Why do you think you can lab and do that? Right. So that's the way. That's my interpretation of it. You know, whoever can study and do all that, whoever can work out all that, whatever. For me, this is me telling myself this. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm really in the best shape of my life. And I have history of working out and doing like amateur bodybuilding and all this stuff and doing very, very low level shit, right? And just understanding my body and how it works and working out and do all these things, right? And because I really enjoy working out. So when I was fighting, I was training for 3 hours. So what does that mean? It's not consistently. It's more like learning stuff, right? It's you going to class, you learn stuff for about 45 minutes, and I took 3 classes in a row. So sometimes 2 classes, sometimes 3 wasn't. Some days I took 3, other days I just took 2. On some days I just took 1. But majority of the time, when I first started, it was 1 day a week. I mean, one class a week, and then I went to 2 classes a week. So 2 classes was the average. 3 was like on occasion, and so 3 hours, so 2 hours. So it'll be physically about 45 minutes of of working out, and then the other 5 was just stopping, pausing, communicating, pausing, talk. All right, let's go back. So it's kind of like that. That's the flow. So there's rest in between, and then you're learning. You're not consistently lifting weight. You're not consistently hitting the back. So, and there was the wrap up after. These are the times I did 2 classes and 1 actual workout, and the workout was an hour long of us exercising the whole time. So that was like a camp type of thing. So I was like, all right, and depending on how I worked out, how much I trained in regards to my skills is how I uh, planned out my running and lifting. So the times when I lifted, I only took one class. The times when I took jiu-jitsu, and then the times I did long runs, I took only one. I ran and then took a class, and then I took class and then I ran. It just depends on the scenario. So it's like, okay, so my body's in the best shape of its life. I'm eating right. I'm lifting. I'm doing all this stuff. How can I? And then I stopped. I moved up here and did all that. So I was like, okay, I'll take the CCNA now. I've been studying for a while. During that process in California, and I was working out, I was studying. I was kind of just half-assing it, just making sure I kept up. It was like constantly reading the chapters and books, and just um, kind of making sure I retain the knowledge. 45 minutes to 45 minutes each session. So 45 minutes before work, 45 minutes during lunch, and then when train, I forgot about it. So when I came here, I was like, all right, how do I really kick this up a notch and get it to the shortest amount of time, but at the same time be very efficient and not burn myself out? I'm gonna do this like I worked out. So every day I woke up and I read and I went over I did my morning ritual. Breakfast, listened to some motivation video, and then I went sat down, read for about 30 minutes, 45. Whatever until I felt I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm tired. Started losing track and focus. I'm like, okay, it's time to wrap it up. So I picked up the book, or I started making flashcards. Flashcards really work for me as well, and it worked for me because I was working. So when I was working and had some downtime, pick it up, do one or two flashcards, put it back in my pocket. All right, work, flashcards. So I picked up the book, went to work, had the book up at work, and then I read a page or two, and then during lunch, whole hour dedicated to reading and study. Then um, worked, relaxed, worked, and then when I went home, I studied for about 45 minutes. But if I felt too tired, I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna go walk the dog, and do something else. And during this time, though, as I was getting closer to the test, I started freaking out. I want to study more, I want to study more. But I realized the more I studied, the more I got headaches. I studied more, and then sometimes I'll study like 4 or 5 hours that whole day. Not in one stream, but that was an extreme long day. So I was like, all right. And the next day, I was like, that was a good study day. The next day, my head hurt. I couldn't study in the morning. I was burnt out. I was like, fuck, I'm burnt out. I overdid it. So I gave my day a rest. And then the next following day, I felt better. I would have studied again. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. It's just like when you work out a lot. I got really sore, right? So, and you guys comment if you guys felt like this before. So I was like, okay, cool. So let me not. I feel real good. Sometimes I think you feel real good. You want to lift more weight. I'll read a little bit more. I'll do more things, but then I'll stop. No, because tomorrow I'm fucked. And so before I get into fights, I will take 2 days rest. Usually I'll be like kind of injured after, like, all right, I know I'm gonna go into this fight this day, so I'm gonna kick with the training like 4 weeks before, and then like 2 days before the actual fight, I will actually not do anything. So that's what I did with the CCNA. That I didn't do anything for 2 days, and then the day before, the day of the test, I reviewed. I just went over like real quick, not intense, just kind of read things over on my review documents. I made a review page per chapter for the CCNA, so it was like 20 something pages. I mean 20 something review with things, but I consolidated that. So I only went over the ones that mattered, the ones that like I felt like OSPF or ERGRP, BGP, ACLs, NAT, That's it. I think those are like the 5 that I covered. So I had like 20 something, but I only covered like 5 that day. And that's just random real quick. And that's me warming up, right? It's me warming up. And then went for the test and knocked it out. I never finished a test faster. I'm doing the same thing with CCNP. Now, I failed the CCNP the first attempt. Now, here's the story on that. I got a job where I just sit down like this scenario. We are in lockdown, can't do anything. I have very little day-to-day functions. Now, I'm not working 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day at a physical location and needing to cover certain things. I am here in my home office and I have very little day-to-day activities to do. So I have plenty of time to study. So I'm coming up with ideas of different stuff and all that, and I'm using my brain on a lot of things. I started some venture, and then I'm studying for the CCNP. I want to create blogs. I did like a real cool blog this week. Check that out on my website here, the itblog.com. Understanding native VLAN here, boom, right? I'm doing these things. Okay, so I'm spending a lot of time thinking, doing stuff. Same time with that at that job, same thing like that job where I was spending a lot of time just sitting around. So I was thinking a lot, and I'm a thinker. I like to think about shit. So so I was all right, like spend here, and it was about a year that I was spent around pretty much sitting down. So it's like, how can I make the most out of this? Make it certified. So I was already studying for my certification. I already had read one book, and it was for Chris Bryant, CCNP. And then, give me 1 second. I want to make sure this wasn't work. No, we're fine. Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I got a missed call. I want to make sure it wasn't work. So, I was studying for the CCNP, and I finished the Chris Bryant book, and I was doing some labs there, reading. I read that book. It's about like 15 chapters. So I finished that book, and then I got this job. It was great. So I started. I read the Switch CCNP, and I went through that thing in like under a month, because literally 10 hours sitting down for 4 days. So I wanted to make every second of my time that worth it. So I study, and it wasn't 10 days, 10 hours, right? It was I will study on average 4 to 6 hours, and it'll be like an hour straight of just like, all right, rest, reading, rest, reading. I knocked out that book. Then went to the route exam, read that book, read the whole thing. Then I took some Udemy classes, did like the lab thing. I bought the boson, and I was doing that. I spent more time on that book than the Switch book because I was actually going to take that test. So I wasn't learning. I was learning at a certification level. So I was like ramping, reading every day, just like super stressed the fuck out, man. Super stressed out. I put this ridiculous amount of, and I was trying to get it in time for the February Apocalypse for Cisco. I was like, if I could pass it by October, then I have plenty of time for the Switch. And if I can get the Switch and the route, I'm going to take one exam for the Enterprise. If I get them all 3, that'll be amazing, whatever. So I was like, again, back to like the CCNA style. Like, I'm trying to hurry up and accomplish something. And at that point, I wasn't challenging everything. It was actually trying to get the CCNP in 1 year, the same year that I got the CCNA. But nope, I completely failed. Once I failed it, 718, the 790 passing score, I was like, nope, I'm gonna just wait, because there's no reason for me to continue studying the route exam if the new one's gonna come out and I won't be able to have time. So I got this job and all that. In any case, I was putting this ridiculous amount of pressure on myself. And honestly, I feel like if I would have studied 4 hours a day and threw some labs in there and kind of just relaxed and worked out and did some exercises and allowed myself to kind of de-stress, play video games and not drink, drink and not like make sure I'm mentally and physically okay, I would have passed that test. And maybe I would have passed in November. but not passing it at all was it's not a good consequence, right? It's like, all right, well, study super fast. I got a bunch of knowledge out of it. I do know material, but not certification level. So I'm trying to get to that point. So now I'm feeling the same thing doing this quarantine thing, where I am burning myself out, thinking about a lot of stuff, doing too much because I have a lot of time in my hands. And if I'm the type of individual who like I'm super ADD, where I gotta do stuff, boom, boom, always gotta do stuff, because I feel like you only have a certain amount of time in your life. We're all gonna leave this earth at some point. So for me, I'm very I want to take the time that I got out of it right now. I'm very blessed to be here in America and living this life. So I want to take advantage of it. I want to take advantage of every second that I have here. So for me, sitting around chilling isn't an option. Like I don't think that's an option. But at the same time, you have to be happy, right? You have to be happy mentally to approach certain things, because at the end of the day, I was watching a video about how this guy doesn't like Gary. Well, he likes him, but he doesn't. He thinks that some of advice for Gary Vee doesn't apply to everyone, where it's like grind and work every day and all that. And I get his perspective a little bit, because if you continue to work really, 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 really hard on something, and you don't take the time to kind of unwind and relax a little bit, what is it worth it? Is it really worth it at the end of the day? The sacrifices you make, not seeing your family, not da 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 da. Is it really worth the sacrifices if you don't have that at the end of the day? If you end up being extremely alone, right? You end up being really extremely alone. Is it worth all these achievements? And in my opinion, they're not, right? If you end up not having friends and family and loved ones and things you really care about around you, it's not really worth it. It's not fun anymore. So I started this thing. I have this thing on my whiteboard. It says, I think it's life, mind, body, right? Those are the things that, in my opinion, you need to have positivity around for you to be able to be successful, period. Life be on track. What I mean is like making positive decisions. You don't want to have bills that are due, that are stressing you out, but at the same time be able to challenge yourself at a super high level, right? You can't. You can. People who are in certain situations, in very negative ones, and they're all of that, right? Just really bad situations and try to get some out of it, so they try to challenge themselves, do some things. But if you have to, don't ignore them, is what I'm saying. So long as you're facing those challenges, get your life in a proper order, make good decisions. Don't make decisions that don't drink and drive. Don't like do dumb shit, right? Make that cause stress in your life. Play by the rules for a while, right? If you're a rebel, just like play by the rules and just like don't challenge everything else when you're trying to challenge yourself mentally or physically, right? If you're trying to get into shape, don't go out every night. Like give your body some rest. Go home, go to sleep, watch some Netflix, relax, unwind. Wake up the next day, go for a run, come back, get dressed, shower for work, all that, go to work, or it's just like do positive stuff to give yourself a good, well-rounded life day to day, so you don't have to stress about stuff. You're not worried about cooking. You're not cooking and thinking about how like this individual at work is being negative about you and da 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 da. Like, just don't engage. Just be like, you know what I mean? Just look at positive people and be around positive people. So get your life on track. That's what I mean about that. And then get your mind on track where mentally you're at a positive place. And if you're not at a positive place, get yourself there. There's a bunch of like self-help books, all kinds of shit. For me, I listen to like motivational videos by Gary Vee, or like that one dude, I Can't Breathe, right? I fucking love that video. I Can't Breathe, and if you just type it up, I Can't Breathe. That's it. Eric Thomas, Eric Thomas. That was bomb speaker. I don't know about his new stuff now, um, but that video was super genuine. So, any case, I Can't Breathe, dope. And so I listen to those stuff, and those help you mentally get in a positive place. A lot of people are very negative; they kind of shoot you down all the time. Oh, it's not worth it. You're never going to get anywhere with that, or da 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 da. Now I'm at a certain level. Now I feel like the people around me kind of, I guess, don't shoot down every idea that I have anymore, just because a lot of them actually paid off really well. So I have a good track record. So I don't get too much negativity. Or maybe I'm just dealing with it a little bit better. Who knows? But in any case, get yourself in a mental state that's positive. And then body, right? So in order for your mind to be functional, you have to eat healthy things, right? Like for me, it was crazy. I used to drink probably every day or every other day for sure when I was working, like on a day-to-day basis. And I think it was my way of de-stressing. It's like I come home, have a couple beers, relax, play some video games, watch some Netflix, and go sleep. But when I have time to study, well, I didn't make time to study. I didn't make that a priority. I didn't make my body a priority either. I tried running, and then sometimes I get home at like 10 o'clock. I don't want to go running. And then wake up at 8, like, and I'm okay. So it's just a bunch of excuses, obviously. I'll make it work when I go back. So I needed this time to break to kind of like self-reflect on what was going on. I'm fortunate it's happening, but I'm glad it's happening. Right? Like for me, it worked out. Like I needed this break. I needed a vacation. I don't think I would have gotten it otherwise. So for me, I'm looking at it as a vacation, even though I'm still working. So because I don't have to go in every day, I'm not facing the stresses on a day-to-day basis. I'm facing micro tasks that I can handle very easily. So now I'm like a remote administrator instead of a I don't know, political connoisseur. Like, I don't know, whatever, IT liaison, I don't know. So but in any case, get your mind right where you're able to absorb a lot of these complex topics, right? It depends. Like for you, it's complex because it's new, right? So if it's whatever it is you're studying, it's complex for you because it's new. So anything that's coming in that's new, you need to absorb it and learn it, and you try to do it as quickly as possible, right? But as efficiently as possible. You don't want to, like I said, overwhelm yourself. So in order for you to do that, you have to have your mind drinking water. For me, I love coffee. You cannot study without coffee. So for me, I already got a cup of coffee in me. Coffee, tea, water, juices, right? Not a lot of sugar. I try to stay away from sugar. But apples, right? I love fucking apples. I used to eat apple a day for sure. I need to start getting into habit. I still buy apples all the time. I hardly ever eat them. But I still buy them just so I know, because I know that it's like a thing when you carry a book, right? You eventually eat them. So when you start eating those more often for me. But anyways, get your mind right to be able to absorb some of these topics. It's a whole thing for me. For me, now I view studying it's like me working out again. And Jeremy Shara actually mentioned this, where he's like, it's working out and you have to start getting used to it again. It's like getting back into the rhythm of things and all that. No, that's true, right? But I view it as literally working out, not like it's working out. Like, no, like it's legit how you're working out. You cannot, for me, I cannot just start running. I have to, it's a whole thing for me. Like, all right, for me to start putting physical activity, I have to change the way my life is, just the way it is. I don't like waking up every day having a headache and then going for a run because I drank too much the night before. Like, I don't like doing that. I make myself it's more miserable for me. Why do it? Why did I do it? So I shouldn't have done it. So if I'm going to be getting into shape, I have to start with my day-to-day routine. Sleep early. I'm sleeping early now. Like I'm getting to bed earlier so that way when I wake up, it's easier for me to wake up. It's not a drag. If I'm trying to get myself in a better pattern every day, and get more things done and more efficiently, then I should get to bed early, wake up on time, do things that are necessary, and then go to bed on time and do the same thing all over again, right? And then I had mentioned patterns. I don't like patterns that I do every single day. However, if like I do these live streams every day at 9 a.m. Now, there's different topics. I don't like talking about the same thing every day, right? But my actions, I still have to wake up a certain time, get here at a certain time, but the topic changes. So I'm always thinking about something new, being a little bit creative. So I enjoy this, right? So that's what I'm talking about. I don't like running every day. I run once every other day. I don't like working out the same things every day. I like changing it so that way it challenges my mind. So I'm always like being creative on stuff. So that's what I had meant about the routines. Right now I have a routine, but it's very fluid, and I actually got to build out a study schedule. Now I'm thinking about this, and that'll be real cool. So I think I might talk about that tomorrow. Build out a study schedule. Try it out, but don't let it be static. That's another thing too. Is like where it's like working out. Some individuals, the way they look at it, working out, they built out this thing, and they're like, if they don't not follow this to the T, then they failed and start over and do it again on Monday. It's like, no. It's like, but I view that how it is in studying. So for me working out, I put out the schedule. If it doesn't work out for my schedule and then I did a misstep, it doesn't matter. It's okay. I didn't do it at 7. Let me do this at 7 p.m. instead. So now my dedication now is at 7 p.m. So when I leave work, come home, I have to run today. Why? Well, because I didn't run at 7. Oh, we got to do this. I got to run at 7. It has to matter to you. So I get super upset when I can't study when I was planning to study. I get personally attacked. Like that's how I feel. If my plan was to study at a certain time and I didn't get to do it, I get upset, right? Or if my plan was to run that day and I didn't get to run, or I'm not going to get to run because of some other force was trying to tell me that that's not important, I get triggered, right? You have to take that personally. Same thing. And then at work, I'm the same way, where saying, hey, well, relax, it's not a big deal. I'm like, yeah, it is a big deal. Like I take this personally. Like I'm trying to achieve something, and you're actively not respecting that. So I'm upset now. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like I wake up every day and do the things that are necessary. But because you didn't plan your day schedule correctly, or you didn't or either respect my timeline of certain things at work or at home or whatever, I'm sorry. Like I'm gonna go do this right now. So it's unfortunate. Let's pick it up again tomorrow. It's not a big deal. So that's the way I view it. And you have to take it to that extreme because no one cares. And I remember telling this to my mom, and she was like, "No, don't say that. I care." But no, like no one cares as much about your success as much you do. So if you care about it very little, it's like right here, and then everyone else is gonna be like right here. Like they're like supporting you, yeah, go. But depends on how you want to go. Like if you care about your success at a super extreme level, everyone else is gonna be like right here, right? I remember talking to my grandmother, and then she was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And like I was telling her, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to school. I'm working out. I'm doing these things." And I was just like telling her catching her up, right, of my life. And she's like, "Oh, you sacrifice too much." In my head, I'm like, "What am I sacrificing? I don't understand." But now I do. At that moment in time, I didn't. I was way younger. I'm young now, but way younger. And looking back, I think, and it happens when you get older, where the whole burnout thing, right? It's just, at that time, I'm able to do more things just because I'm at a younger age. I feel like I have the world ahead of me, type of thing, and it's like everybody else doesn't matter. And thank God that I was doing things like that are necessarily terrible, like was doing drugs or going out clubbing. I was like working out and spending hours in the gym. I think the longest me and my cousin spent in the gym was 6 hours, right? So I spent a lot of time with him, but I didn't spend a lot of time with my grandmother, my mom, my dad. So now, older, I appreciate them and their time more, right? I'm calling my grandmother more. I spend more time with my parents. They come and visit me, and I cherish that time. Just because I think I was burning myself out in life, and now that I'm reflecting, now looking back, all the times where um, I didn't come home until like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, and I won't see my mom. I'll see her like, "Oh, hi, son," and then I go to bed real quick, go upstairs, and I take it to that extreme level. So sometimes she'll say, "Hey, sit down and talk." But no, I'm like, I gotta go to bed right now. It's like, why? Like, you literally just came, like, take a rest. I'm like, no, I can't take a rest. I go sleep early. I gotta wake up on time, because if I take another half hour, an hour to go to sleep right now, then tomorrow's gonna suck. And then I have to do this routine, because if I don't do this routine, then I fall by myself back. I don't get to study, right? An hour here, taking an hour right now will sacrifice an hour of me waking up, and then therefore I don't get to study my CCNA. But I still get to run and stuff, which happened. Some of the sacrifices happen, right? So I would go out or do something, or I would stay up late and do something else, and then I wake up not on time for me to study enough. So I just get to work just on time, and I won't study that day. So I had to make it up somewhere. So and then for me, I took that at a point where I'm like, all right, well, I failed today, right? So how do I improve? And I think having accountability is good, but then again, also gauging how much you're investing on a day-to-day basis. Don't do it to the point where you forget about why you're doing it, and to the point where you're actually hurting yourself for the whole total outcome. If you are getting to the point where you just like can't concentrate or don't want to get up and do it, you're probably burning yourself out. Right? And you may, and then for you to start, for me to start like exercising, I start with drinking water, drinking healthy things, having a more healthy mentality when I eat. Um, Looking at don't First thing is obviously beer for me. Like, I love having a beer at dinner. No more beer at all, just straight cut off. Water, hydration, like eating healthier stuff. I'm always trying to be healthy, but just like eating just healthier mentality, more greens and stuff like that. When you go out to eat, don't buy salad instead of like cheeseburger. Right? That's how I start. Baby steps. Same thing with studying. When you're studying, read a chapter. Oh no, I'm sorry, not read a chapter. Sometimes chapters are 30 pages. Read 1 or 2 pages. That's it. Just start 1 or 2 pages, and then carry the book with you. And then chill, work out, like do whatever, like play video games, whatever. Just kind of like your day to day. I'm talking about when you're first starting, and then pick the book up again. Do that about 3 times in a day. That's how I first started push-ups. I sucked at push-ups. I remember when I was in elementary school, they would stand us up on these like benches and give us like a physical and do push-ups, and I was like doing the whole like ass up in the air push-up, and it was just like right, and I did like 2 of them, and then it wasn't even push-ups. It was kind of like more like this type of movement, right? And I got real embarrassed of myself, because I'm like, dude, like I suck. These people were able to do push-ups. These were the kids. And then so when I got older, I was like, how do I get good at push-ups? So I would do 1 push-up each morning and each night. So I'll do 1 and then learn how to do it. So I taught myself how to do a push-up. And then eventually, and then same thing with pull-ups. I remember at a young age, I was able to do a lot of pull-ups, because my parents got me this bar, and I'll do 1 a day, and I'll do like half baby ones, and eventually I would do 10. And that's how I started the whole push-up game, right? Now I can do like 30. I just like pump out 30. And I improved on the push-up, obviously, when I was a kid. I had this like makeshift push-up that I learned, and now like through my experience and all that, I perfected the push-up, right? So and that's how you do everything. When I first started running, I think it was like recorded it. I had like half a mile, and I was like 15-minute, half a mile, and I was just like breathing heavy. I was just like not having it. I hated running. Now, when I started running again, I run a mile in 10 minutes, and I was fine. I'm running it at a good pace. Like I'm not like, right. So I mean, it's still slow as hell. But that's kind of how I start now. But back then, I really started at half a mile at 16 minutes, right? Now I've been running for about 2 weeks now, and I'm at under 9-minute mile. So that's how you just develop. So you read by 1 or 2 pages. Don't compare yourself to an individual who's, oh, in 3 months I can knock out the CCNA or CCNP or the certificate. Because, oh, why? What's easy? It's like, what? Like, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know how to, if you haven't read a lot, then you're going to slow reader. So you can't knock it out in 3 months. It's all relative. Everything's relative. Your patterns, everything's all based on what works for you. So for me, don't be ashamed of reading 1 page a day. Next day, and do that for a week. And now all of a sudden you're done with that chapter, right? Depending on the length of the chapter. And then challenge yourself. Okay, I'm going to do 2 pages a day and then 3 pages a day. Before, when I started, I couldn't, I'm checking the time here. I couldn't finish a chapter in a week, no matter how long it was. I just couldn't do it. It was too much reading for me. Now I finish a chapter in about 2 days. It's a run. Like if it's 20 pages, I finish a chapter in about 2 days. So, and that's with like me taking notes, writing down stuff and all that, not just like kind of knocking it out. So I've improved my reading. So somebody like me advising someone to take this test at a certain time frame, I give them on my perspective, but yours may be completely different. So again, don't burn yourself out. Have those rest periods. Maybe just study an hour a day. If you're just starting out on reading, you never read a whole book that's like 400 pages on the study material. It's different than when you're doing like fun reading. There's a learning curve. So read a page at a time. And some people don't like taking the quizzes. Like tailor your studying habits based on what you like. So, and don't do it to the point where you're hating the fact that you're doing it. Always make sure it's fun. That's kind of like my story and perspective on studying and getting burnt out. And then for me, I felt like I was feeling that way. So my resort is working out in video games. So I would suggest you guys find some outlet that's healthy. And again, life, mind, and body. Those are the things that, in my opinion, you have like good positivity around for you to absorb new things and challenge yourself. So yeah, pretty much it. I'm wrapping it up here. Really appreciate you guys. This video will be available on YouTube, the itblog.info, Stitcher and Audible, and then my website, of course, the itblog.info. All the Audible will be available like immediately. So, peace.